Hello, everybody, and welcome to Diamond Owl Studios, the number one place for music reactions. I'm your host, Chase.
And it's the one and only Diamond Don Juan. We are back with another reaction just for you.
That's right, baby. We are back, and tell them what's going on, Don.
Today we're listening to Don McLean,
Ooh.
American Pie. I honestly I know the song, but I wasn't aware that Don McLean is the one who wrote it, and I really didn't know much about him. I did a reaction with Black Pegasus probably a year ago now to Vincent, I believe is the name of the song. And it was incredible. Like, we've talked about like great songwriters, and having just heard a couple of his songs, he's got to be up there. I mean, his songwriting is just truly remarkable. And I'm excited to dive into this today. You know much about this song?
I've heard this song before, and I did look up a little bit of information on it beforehand, because I know this song it's kind of filled with like coded, references and imagery and things like that. So I wanted to get a little piece of information about it before we got into it. And we could kind of get into that a little bit more as we listen to the song. But yeah, I mean, I've heard this before, and I'm really excited to actually have a deep listen to it now with a better understanding.
I think what's interesting as well is that, probably when you heard this song before, we just started doing these music reactions in the last year, and you were a little bit hesitant at first about doing some of the classic stuff because you were just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I'm just spilling, all this dirty laundry. But, since we've gone down the journey, there's a lot of artists that I think are referenced and like the whole story, that you wouldn't have known about prior to doing these reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And since I've been doing them myself, there's a bunch of, artists that I've been introduced to or just learned much more about through doing these reactions. So in some ways, like, the song is more relevant with that information.
Right. Awesome. Well, without further ado, guys, we're going to jump right into it.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep, I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride, but something touched me deep inside the day the music died.
Oh my God. Goosebumps.
So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so. Do you believe in rock and roll? Can music save your mortal soul? And can you teach me how to dance real slow? Well, I know that you're in love with him, 'cause I saw you dancing in the gym. You both kicked off your shoes. Man, I dig those rhythm and blues. I was a lonely teenage bronc and buck with a pink carnation and a pickup truck, but I knew I was out of luck the day the music died. I started singing bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Now for 10 years we've been on our own, and moss grows fat crown. The courtroom was adjourned. No verdict was returned. And while Lenin read a book on Marx, the quartet practiced in the park, and we sang dirges in the dark. The day the music died.
Oh my God, this is hitting so deep now. I'm loving that we have the lyrics fully in front of us.
Yeah.
This is just an incredible songwriting. It's so deep, and I feel like it came from this part of him of like feeling like he's like lost it. Like, you know, it came from a place of like that moment where he lost his innocence, you know? And he was talking in the beginning about the, you know, when he heard about the death. And I know that we looked it up, that references to the plane crash in 1959 with Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper. Do you remember the third one?
Ricky Valance?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and just to like
La Bamba.
To paint this picture of something that happened that was so like transformative for you and like eye-opening, and then to like turn it into this. This is beautiful. This is an incredible song.
Yeah, the songwriting is so good because it's capturing like these emotions of, you know, his life and his journey and his own experience. I feel it's like you said, that story of lost innocence, but also, you know, it's very sad at the beginning, and then it gets like more upbeat, and that's to me is like his love of the music and like joy that the music brought him, and you know, the journey of like going through life, you know, drove the Chevy to the levee when the levee was dry. Those, you know, glory days, like those fond memories that you have of, you know, turning on the radio and playing the music with that special lady by your side and going and, you know, hanging out with the boys, you know, having fun. And it's going through this whole journey of like, not just his personal life, but like the American story as well, like the journey of America going through these phases.
Yeah, I mean, even just that line. Yeah, he's painting this beautiful picture. Like we picking up the girl in the pickup truck with the pink flower. I don't know,
in her hair.
Yeah. No, like just, you know, for like prom. Like picking up for prom.
Yeah.
You know, just like that, and then that whole. I know we did read a little bit about it before, but that whole line where he's talking about the jester and the king and how the jester stole the king's crown. I mean. We could talk about that a little bit later, but let's get back into it.
Practiced in the park, and we sang dirges in the dark. The day the music died, we were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Helter skelter in the summer swelter, the birds flew off with a fallout shelter. 8 miles high and falling fast. It landed foul on the grass. The players tried for a forward pass with the jester on the sidelines in a cast. Now the halftime air was sweet perfume while the sergeants played a marching tune. We all got up to dance, oh, but we never got the chance, 'cause the players tried to take the field. The marching band refused to yield. Do you recall what was revealed the day the music died? We started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. were clenched in fists of rage. No angel born in hell could break that Satan's spell. And as the flames climbed high into the night to light the sacrificial rite, I saw Satan laughing with delight the day.
Oh my God.
Music died.
I have goosebumps.
Singing.
Man,
Oh, I have full body goosebumps, dude. Oh, that almost makes me want to cry. I don't know why, dude.
it's just so deep. Like there's so much in this song that it's absolutely timeless because there's these little references, and I wonder if like, you know, it was all intentional. Like he mentions like the, you know, Rolling Stone gathers moss, and then there's like, you know, the marching band, and he talks about the sergeant. I wonder if that was a reference to, I think it was like Sergeant Pepper's, and that
I
one
wouldn't
of the
know.
Beatles albums.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he did mention Lennon earlier.
Yeah, that was more like a reference to like communism because he was talking about Lenin and Marx. But then
okay.
again, like that was like part of, you know, the 60s movement is that you had this like push towards that was, you know, kind of a reference to that and the changing of America and that, you know, entering, you know, the dialogue. And also, you know, he's talking about like, you know, the nuclear shelter, I think at one point. So it's like the whole Cold War. I mean, that's what
He's
I'm
talking
saying.
about the helter skelter, the whole scare with,
Yep, exactly. So that's, again, I think that's a reference to like, you know, Charles Manson, but also the Beatles album Helter Skelter. That was an album, was it? Or a song? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it was a song.
Okay, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know all the references. That's what we're trying to do. We're
I know
trying
there's
to pull
some
it
lore,
apart.
but behind that and Charles Manson, because he like made music and like wrote.
Well, that was one of the things. I think they wrote Helter Skelter on the wall, like in blood or something, like super dark. But again, that's kind of what the reference is. It's like talking about this like transition of, you know, the innocent era, the day the music died, and then like Satan laughing and all of that, like talking
like
about
like the innocence. Like not only did he lose his innocence, but like America, like we are all losing our innocence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like you said, it's like a time capsule because everything's just getting. It's like, you know, even for me, it's like I saw life completely different when I was a child, and I didn't know about any of the shit he's talking about when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like everything was still so innocent to me. And then there's a day that comes where you're like, whoa, like nothing, like this is all serious. Like the innocence is gone, you know, and like, and this happens to society. Like I have a 6-year-old daughter and she has no idea about what's going on in the world right now. And everything to her, like she's going to look back at these times when she was a kid. She's going to be like, it was so innocent. Where'd the innocence go? And it's like it's this song that can be applied to anybody at any time. It's beautiful.
It's just a master class in like songwriting. I could spend like, you know, an hour breaking it down, but I mean, there's just so many good lines. What did he say? Because flames or fire is the devil's only friend.
Yeah.
That's such a good line.
That's such a fire line.
Because it's like talking about like that burning things down, the destruction. That's like the devil's, you know, playground and his,
Can you guys tell how much we love this song right now? Because I feel like I could just talk about it all night. All right, let's get back to
Satan laughing with delight the day the music died. He was singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die." I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news, but she just smiled and turned away. I went down to the sacred store where I'd heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. And in the streets the children screamed, the lovers cried and the poets dreamed, but not a word was spoken. The church bells all were broken. And the three men I admire most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, they caught the last train for the coast.
Oh my
The
God.
day the music died.
Jesus.
And they were singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. They were singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die.
Oh my gosh. 10 out of 10, dude. Oh man, I'm a freaking wreck now, dude. That was so good.
It's such a beautiful song. I mean, we talked a lot about the lyrics, but just the songwriting and the, you know, the way that it's structured. You have that opening sequence that's just, you know, sad and, you know, very like remorseful, and also just like, I feel just really honoring like the death of those people. It's like the sadness that he was feeling at the time. And then it goes into this more upbeat version, which to me is like the spirit of rock and roll, the happiness, the excitement.
And it was like before he lost his innocence. He was kind of talking about that, which,
yeah, exactly. Just like, you know, making people dance and all of the emotions that music like brought him and brought people and brought, you know, America and society, you know, the love, the joy, the dancing, all those things that great music does of bringing people together and all those memories. And then it goes, you know, into the, you know, story of like America changing and, you know, the devil like taking center stage, you know, through some of these eras and the loss of innocence associated with all that. And then goes back to that kind of, you know, it doesn't have like, to me, the sadness that was at the beginning. It has a touch of that, but it's almost like that sadness mixed with a little bit of hopefulness. I caught at the end as well, because to me, it was like, you always will be able to go back to that era and listen to that music and remember those good times. Like when you put on like a good song like that, it brings back those memories. And even though you still like have that loss of innocence, you can never get it back. You can listen to it and remember that time.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel you're right on that, because that whole first part, even him basically talking about the 60s. I know we said we looked up just a little bit of the lore behind the song, and apparently the jester was Bob Dylan, the king was Elvis, you know, and he's kind of just talking about these musicians that like paved the way and was just, you know, great influences to him or whatever it might be that he loved. But and then it gets darker and darker, and I honestly think the song was very dark, but in like a beautiful way. Like even that line that really got me when he said, the three men I admire most, you know, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost all took a train and hit the coast. Like they're out of here. Like God left America. The devil's ruling America. Innocence is gone. Evil's here. I think it's like, it is pretty dark, you know, and it had that upbeat tune. Like I heard this song my whole life, and I only knew the chorus, and I would have never in a million years thought that this song like rendered this type of this meaning to it. Oh my God.
Yeah. I feel like you could teach like a whole course on like poetry and songwriting, like in college, because there's so many like good lines. Like he said something about the jester and was singing like in the voice of the people. Like something about like the jester took the king's crown.
Yeah, he said the jester was singing in our voice.
Which is, to me, it's a very interesting line, because if it really is a reference to Bob Dylan is not known for having a great voice.
Yeah.
And so he
just kind of had like a normal guy.
To me, it's like a two meaning. it could be like a double entendre in the sense that it's like, he isn't like the best singer, like his voice isn't great, but then also it's like the voice of the people. This is what the people are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he like took the king's crown, because even though he didn't have the most beautiful voice, he was speaking, about what people were feeling at the time.
Right.
And that transition of like the king and the king's, Elvis's music and, that more innocent time to this, other, person that's like speaking more from a point of, being discontented with certain things and just, just a very distinct transition is what I'm getting at between those.
Yeah, you're right.
Styles of music and the tone of the music and the underlying themes and messages was, pretty big difference. I
guarantee, if you're in college for like songwriting or poetry or anything, I bet that you've been shown this song on a deep, because this has to be one of the best like poetic songs we've ever listened to on this channel. We've listened to a lot of songs, and I say this kind of a lot, and people kind of roast me in the comments. But like, this is probably one of my favorite reactions we've done in a while. And I did not expect that going into this at all. But
well,
really,
there's top tier ones. And this is one of those where it really is like, I'm a big like lyricist. I used to, rap, and my thing was like, I loved intricate lyrics. I loved, metaphors and deep meaning and things that you had to think about. Like my favorite MCs were the ones that like it would take me time to break down their verses. I'd have to think about it. Sometimes I have to pick up a dictionary and figure out what words are an encyclopedia and be like, what is this reference? Like, because I don't, know it. And I would, have to spend time like digesting it. And this is one of those songs where it's like, I feel like you could listen to it over and over again and, catch different meanings or, different, little, just kind of Easter eggs about like what some of the references were.
I know we're going, this is a long reaction, but this is what good reactions do to us. What I liked about this is it said, he wrote it so listeners can interpret meanings themselves. That mystery is why people still debate it 50 years later. So this is a song that there's so much to think about it that like people debate it. They're like, no, I think this is the meaning. And he never came out and told people.
Well, even the line, like he said, a generation lost in space. And that era was like the space race. We were trying to get to the moon. We were, head to head against Russia, trying to have the first person land on the moon. And it's like such an intriguing line to say like a generation lost in space, because it was so hopeful. It was like, oh, we're doing these amazing things as humanity by sending human beings into space, by putting a person on the moon, but then also with all that focus and attention put on that. And then you get there and, you land a person on the moon.
Or not.
And then it's like, well, what's left now? Because we spent all this time and energy doing that and we've accomplished that, but now what? Yeah. So it's like I feel like all these little tidbits in there that it's like just food for thought. You could just sit and ponder it. And really that last bit where he's talking about, Satan and his influence, it's like, it's deep. It's a deep song with a lot of meaning and gravity in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful song. Dark and beautiful. And I dare to say not hopeful at all, but
I see again, I got a different meaning from it, but I can see what you're saying. I could see that what he's talking about, it's the transition that, that Satan's taken over the music. He's, got his fingers into America. There's a loss of innocence there. And man,
it's crazy to think about. But hey, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you drop a like. And if you want to join us on this incredible journey of discovering music or revisiting music and just having in-depth breakdowns and conversations about it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.
That's right. And I'm very curious if you've made it this far. Let me know in the comments, what does this song mean to you? What was it like when you first heard it? What meaning did you derive from it when you first heard it? And has that changed over time? Is there a new meaning that you've gotten from the song as you listen to it decades later? I'd love to know what your input is, because I just find it so interesting, like how people relate to the music, what it meant to them and how it's changed over time. And, who knows, maybe you were playing the song when you hung out with your friends or met that special lady or man. So yeah, we appreciate you tapping in. Let us know in the comments what you want us to react to next. Like I said, Vincent is great. Like, I need to put you in front of that song.
I would love to hear it.
Like, I mean, you see his lyrical ability.
Well, I have no doubt that I'll love it at this point.
Yeah, and we've been doing some Ren reactions to, Vincent's tale. So
is that about Vincent Van Gogh?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's,
I've always been super intrigued by him. So
there you have it, folks.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.